So yesterday I went to this. We had this sort of corporate away day with my office, and we went to a. It was a kind of just country in the countryside somewhere. And it was just you did all these activities. You had like quad biking, archery, and one of the activities was clay pigeon shooting. And this was quite exciting because they just basically give you this rifle and just let you shoot it at these clay pigeons. And I remember at school we did something similar with rifles where we did CCF in school, right? Which is kind of where you sort of pretend to be in the army basically. And one of the things they'd do is they'd let us fire rifles on a shooting range. And I remember just being absolutely awful at this. Like, I would just, like, some people, when they did it, they'd just get it really accurately. Like, how it works with shooting is you want to not so much get it all in the right place, but just be able to shoot it in the same place quite consistently. And so you get some people who just had them all really consistently in the same place. But me, it was like, I just had one here, one there, and the rest of them were just off the board. Like, I really wasn't very good at it. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I remember just being quite modest about my skillmanship at shooting. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not much good, haven't really done it before. And anyway, the guy took us to this range where they fire the clay pigeons out and stuff, and he said, all right, who wants to go first? And there was a bit of an awkward pause, and I was like, I can go first, I volunteered myself. And he was like, oh, you're left-handed, and did the old banter about being left-handed. He said, oh, you can go and wait in the car if you like. But no, he sort of took me into the range. He just showed me how to hold the gun and stuff like that. And he was like, okay, I'm just going to fire a clay pigeon and just try and shoot it. And one just came up and I shot it straight away. It was quite easy. I didn't realise this, but basically the pigeon sort of exploded when you shoot it, so it's quite exciting. And he was like, oh, well done, mate, that's really great. And then another one came up, and I tried to shoot it again, and this time I was a little bit short, and he was like, yeah, just try and get it a bit closer to the actual pigeon before you shoot it. And he fired it again, and I shot it again. And another time, and I just kept hitting them basically. And everyone was like really impressed. They're like, wow, Alfie, I didn't know you were so good at shooting. I was like, me neither, to be honest. And then we went to the next stand. And the next stand, like before, the one had just been like firing the pigeon into a straight line away from you. But this one was kind of coming across. And because I was left-handed, this was meant to be much harder because you had to sort of follow it with your weak hand. I don't really understand, to be honest, but he was like, oh, you'll find this one harder because you're left-handed. And anyway, I went on the range again, and again I just shot almost every clay pigeon. I think I missed like one, and they were like, oh wow, this guy's amazing at pigeon shooting. And then we went to the next one, and the guy said, this one you'll find really easy because you're left-handed. So you smash the first two, this one will be really easy. And I was like, okay, cool. And I got the gun and went in the thing, and I was atrocious for the next one. I missed loads of them. And he was like, what's happened? And I didn't really know what had happened, to be honest. But for the rest of the range, even though the actual shots on target, like some of them were a bit more challenging than others, whatever, but most of them were kind of a similar kind of level. But I just lost that flair that I had in the first two rounds. And it was really interesting. And I think the short answer is basically I just got in my own head. And I've had this kind of thing happen quite a lot. I remember when I was working in sales, and I I remember my second day working in it, I got 4 sign-ups, which for the product we were selling and like the campaign and everything was really good. Like usually it was really difficult to get people to more than 2 people to sign up. Like 2 people was kind of the bare minimum, right? That's well, if you sign 2 people up, that was like a good day, right? But doing 4 was like very rare. Well, yeah, for our office it was very rare, and whenever you signed up 4 people, they made quite a big deal of it. And yeah, I remember that day just doing really well, signing up 4 people. And then the following week, I just couldn't do it. I just completely lost whatever skill I had on the first day, if I can call it a skill. In my second week, the week after I signed up 4 people, I signed up like 2 people for the entire week. Like, it was really tough. And I remember at the time, like thinking, yeah, like I've lost my skill. I need to relearn the skill I've done there. But in truth, it wasn't the skill that I'd lost. It was just like my mental game had gone. And I think specifically what had happened is people were telling me that it would be really easy and that I'd do really well from it. You know, I remember before I got into sales, everyone was telling me, oh, it's really hard, you know, oh, you won't last very long, blah, blah. And then I actually went and did it, and I did really well in my first week, right? But then the second week, everyone in the office now had like a huge expectation for me that I would do really well. And I thought like, and they all thought sort of, oh yeah, you're gonna, it's gonna be really easy for you to stay. You're in a really easy territory. Ring the bell minimum, which was like do 2 sign-ups. You'd ring the bell, and yeah, and I didn't. I buckled under the pressure because people expected me to do well, and yeah, I just suddenly clicked on this shooting course. I was like, it's the same thing here. You know, to begin with, I had no expectations of doing well. In fact, if anything, you know, I've got quite a sort of, I'm not got the personality of like someone who shoots a lot, you know, whatever. I was sort of playing up that I was a bit sort of ditzy or whatever, I was left-handed, whatever. So no one really expected anything of me, and that's almost kind of challenge to do really well. But the second I did really well, all of a sudden it's like, oh, this guy's amazing, you know. And then I just lose it, I just buckle under the pressure. And yeah, it's not a skill-related thing. It's just having your head in the game, basically. And yeah, I think the biggest obstacle to me with a lot of stuff, especially stuff of that more kind of sporty nature, I guess, more kind of thing that doesn't involve your brain in the traditional sense, it is to do with your, like you're getting control of your brain. And for me, for some reason, I don't know why, when everyone expects me to do really well, I just fuck it up. And when I expect to do really badly, I do really well, basically. And it's very easy with this kind of stuff where like you've identified that your brain gets in the way of stuff. It's very easy to just go, oh, just relax a bit, mate. You know, it's not a big deal. But it's easier said than done, you know. And I'm not offering like a full solution here. But what I would say is it does pay just to recognise when your brain does get in the way of you and what causes it to get in the way. And for me, I've identified now it is when the pressure's on to do well. When people kind of expect me to do well, and when I feel like people will be disappointed if I do badly, basically. That stuff just fucks me up for some reason. I don't know why. So if you feel like you're someone who's an overthinker, you know, and you recognise this thing of like, it's not your skill level itself that changes, but it's just your brain gets in the way. Recognise what's going on here. Recognise when you find that your brain gets in the way, like what situation it is. Because you might find that it's something very similar. you know, obviously when the pressure's on, we get more stressed. But I think it's the particular pressure of, for me, when other people want me to do well and I do badly, that kind of pressure really gets to me. Whereas kind of the pressure to perform because I've got to pay rent, that is different, you know. However badly I did in sales, and you know, some weeks I did really badly, some weeks I did quite well. But however badly I did perform, I was able to, I don't know, just buy food and travel and whatever. So it depends where the pressure's applied. Some parts are more stressful than others. But I think if you begin to recognise where it is, then that's a tremendous advantage. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. And if you are interested in this kind of stuff, I'm doing some one-on-one coaching at the moment. There's a link in the description, so just check it out if you're interested. And I'll see you in the next video.